Where are you from?
I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yeah. Talk right to the camera. That's really good, man.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Um, Great place, known for casinos and cooking.
And it's important for you. How does that place show up in your rap? In who you are?
I think just the hard work mentality. The accent definitely shows up. I think being from Lake Charles and moving here to a city like Los Angeles, being like this big, kind of have like a chip on my shoulder. Just coming from a small town and kind of to an extent in the big leagues, being in Los Angeles. So, I bring it everywhere with me. And I was born raised in a town called Cameron, but it's like pretty much like if you're from LA but you like stay somewhere like on the outside. Cameron is like 25 to 30 miles outside of Lake Charles. That's where I was raised for the first 15 years of my life. And until the hurricane came, Hurricane Rita, and wiped out where we lived. And I lived in Lake Charles from then on out until I went from high school to college.
So what's the chip on your shoulder?
The chip on my shoulder is to have an experience through music with myself first, and then have an experience with my supporters. It's one of the most important things to me, to be honest. Definitely just to ignite emotion that forces you to think, but not only force you to think, forces you to act. And if you're doing that, or if I can put something in the sound, whether it's lyrically or just musically to make you want to do that, then I feel like I'm doing my job as an artist. Where am I looking at? That thing, or I'm looking
You're
straight?
Perfect. Keep doing right down. Yeah, that's just perfect right there.
Good.
So why is that important to you to inspire people to act? I mean, what do you mean? You wanna ignite something in them?
Yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing is just to ignite them to be themselves and do something. And don't fall in line with doing something that you think that somebody else thinks may be cool for you to do. Do what truly makes you happy, because that's literally what life is all about. So you don't have long on this earth. So it's like, if you don't do what makes you happy, you're gonna have so many regrets. And I think coming up, being a young adult, that literally kind of was my life. Like, I don't know if I can do it. So like letting fear pull me down to where I was afraid to act on certain things. And it's one of the reasons that I'm taking this music thing to a whole nother level and taking risks. You know what I'm saying? You have to in life.
Yeah. So what was it? When did you awaken? Like, what happened to you to help you not be feared or scared to get into that?
That's a great question, actually. I think the more and more I read books, followed my heroes, the Malcolm X's, the Marcus Garveys, following some of my favorite artists, from the Biggies to the Jay-Z's to the Nas's, a lot of them, or even the Muhammad Ali's, a lot of them, they're very bold within what they do. That doesn't mean like as far as like I'm better than you, but like when they actually do what they do, you see a confidence that really can't be like copied. Like it's just like it's so appealing to me. And with that, when I see people in their mode, it's like it's addictive. It's like I really want that, and I seek that. Like it's like when I write a line, I'll be in the studio by myself writing, and one line will come to me, and I'll literally walk around the studio like, I can't believe this. It's equivalent to a crossover in basketball, or I just dunked on somebody or whatever. So that's the feelings I live for. And it's like when I have those feelings, I think like, how many people are not having those feelings in whatever they want to do? Like, how many people are doing something that they think would be best for them based on what somebody else think? And it's like, and it makes me sad or whatever. So that's why a lot of my messages come through the music like that.
So why do you rap?
I rap to have an experience with myself first. The most important thing to me on this earth is to experience myself. And when I mean experience myself, it's kind of like what I said earlier. When I can express myself and have a certain type of joy, it's equivalent to me being able to feast and have something to eat. Yeah. And if I can't experience myself, then I pretty much feel like I'm a dead man walking. So it's just me wanting to experience myself.
So why? What inspired this album? This particular group of songs or tracks?
So what inspired Almighty? I think where we are in times, I think just based like as a country, I think a lot of the messages on there is deep, very emotion driven, and I kind of feel like a very rebel-ish vibe has been on me as far as the album, but not like in a way to where like I would want to like do harm or nothing like that, but it's like stand for something, because the sand has been drawn in a line with certain things as far as like beliefs, but so many people are in the middle, and it's like when you find yourself just wavering, you can just fall by the wayside. So I think with this album, it's just a sense of acting on something. This is how I feel about this. This is what I'm rapping about. This is the plate that I'm giving you, and you can take whatever you like from it and make your assessment and feel how you want about the piece that I presented to the world.
And if you were to die tomorrow, like, what did you stand for? What do you stand for? What do you want the world to know you for?
I want the world to know me for integrity, compassion, and for loving my people. I think it's super important for children to see somebody, definitely in my community, if I could just speak to my community, to see somebody who looks like them, but that carries themselves in a way that doesn't have to be like what's pushed out in the media. A lot of the media show like, oh, this is what a rapper looks like, or this is what a Mexican looks like, or this is what this guy looks like. I think that it's important to display intelligence being gangster, and that's pretty much what I bring through my music, and just being compassionate. Like I think a lot of times with social media, we get caught up in just like it's so easy to disrespect each other, and just carry ourselves in a way that's just not in a gentleman way. So pretty much I would just want the children that looks like me, and children everywhere, just to like, it's cool to be smart, it's cool to be nice, like it's actually gangster to be that, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I would want people to know.
So I mean, rapping can be a dangerous game, thinking of Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. How does his death affect you?
Man, I still haven't been able. I'm already messing up on my words. I'm truly, or I was truly, and still truly am for a loss of words. Like, when I got the news that Nipsey Hussle passed, like, the emotion that came over me was truly like I lost somebody that I truly knew. It's one of the biggest losses I've ever been a part of as a human being pertaining to music, because I was younger when Tupac and Biggie died. Being a grown up now, losing Nipsey Hussle is gonna go down. It already has gone down as one of the biggest hip hop losses ever. It's literally equivalent to dropping a vase and trying to put the pieces back together. Our whole community is confused. We have this senseless act. We don't have all of the facts. I mean, you have presentations of this is what happened, but you truly don't really know what happened. I mean, you have a guy who was doing so much for the community that even like like they show on the TV like oh, he was doing this for his community, but there was so much more that wasn't even in the media, because he was the type of guy that I don't have to be out and show people that I'm doing in the community. Like me being in Los Angeles and knowing people, I've always been told that was a guy of high integrity and was taking care of the community, and it's just devastating. I'm still lost for words, man. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
What doesn't the media get about hip hop and the power of it and being a smart gangster and all the things you mentioned? Like what don't people get?
That's a great question. I think that some of the media, because some media do get it. I think some of the media, they don't actually know how to listen to rap. For example, some people, you can turn rap on and they'll say turn that off before they even listen to it, like, because they don't even know how to like formulate in their mind like how to listen to rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh wait, he's not saying nothing bad. Oh, he's saying something bad. They might hear something to where like an artist was promoting some type of message that wasn't beneficial to the community. So they'll put everybody in that bucket or whatever. But it doesn't work like that. That would be like, because somebody that looked like me done that means that we're all that way. Because I'm black and a black person done that to you, that means we're all that way. So I think that the media doesn't understand it, but I also think that the media doesn't want to understand it. I think that it's equivalent to, well, I think it's just like, it's hip hop come out of a place of rebelliousness. It was rolled off back then when it first started, where it was kind of like jazz, like, no, we're not accepting it, but they couldn't stop it. It jumped everything or whatever. Like, no, these people are here to stay or whatever. So what they did was, the fact that now we're here to stay, they'll make money off of it, but they'll also like keep it within arm's reach or whatever. So, okay, we can't stop you guys no more, but we'll make money off of it, and we'll slander to an extent and sprinkle some truths in some of the messages. Like, you might get a great story about a Kendrick Lamar, and then if he says something that doesn't align with the media, you might have a piece come out that try to undercut everything he stood for. You know, it's just little things like that. So I just think that it's just not patience. And it's just comes down to, if somebody doesn't believe in what you say, being so quick to just shut them off. Like, no, I don't believe that. Whether they're conscious of it or not, they just shun you or whatever. So, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And that's, I just thought of a lot of things when you say that, but that's, it's interesting because I think about like, well, I remember in the book Roots, in the African tradition 300 years ago, the Groy would be the elder with all the lessons, and they would talk about the campfire. And wisdom would pass down from one generation, and it's like rappers, if they're not just glorifying a lifestyle for speaking about truth, they're transmitting truth that needs to be heard, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, it's interesting that you say that. That's why hip hop pretty much runs the world. Yeah. Like, a lot of these rappers, a lot of people that don't care for hip hop, their children love rap. It influences everything down to fashion, to, sports, everything. And that goes hand in hand. But everywhere you go, whether the way that you cuffing your pants, to your Nikes, to your hat, to the side, it's all hip hop. And I think if people look at it more as a true culture, it's kind of like a religion. You know what I'm saying? When you dress a certain way, that's hip hop. You go to China and see the way these kids is dressed, pure hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They got the Yeezys on, they got the Nikes on, they got the Chuck Taylors because of how Snoop wore it. They got the Adidas on because of Run DMC. Hip hop has no boundaries, and I think that people usually they don't know, they fear. So a lot of people, and a lot of them are elderly, they don't know what it is, so they shun it out because they're not familiar with it.
Why is hip hop so universal? How come it speaks to everyone? White kids, Japanese kids, black kids, all income class. Why is that, you think?
I think because rhythm is a universal thing. it has no color at all. It has no color. So when you have something of high quality that's rhythmic, the sound comes in and there's nothing that you can do. It's going to make you move. It's going to build a family, you know. And the best thing about hip hop, not only does the sound do it, we can actually talk to you with words while the sound is going. So that's like another layer on there. So not only are we rhythmically, universally becoming family, I'm actually about to speak to you. Like, I can actually have a conversation with you over the beat. Like, to me, like a genre that dope, like, no, actually, I don't want to just talk it to you. Put a beat on and let me express it to you. So you're going to be just bobbing your head. So you're taking that in rhythmically and sonically, like, man, it's whatever. And then, like, if I say something that really wows you, you like, oh my goodness, this guy's, you know, truly talented. So I think that that's just what it comes down to. And it's a young man's sport to an extent, but now with the Jay-Z's, the Nas's, and all of that, with hip hop being so young, our elders are aging more gracefully now. So it's here to stay. And looking how young it is for it to be able to do all of this already, you know, it's crazy.
What makes a good beat?
Ooh, man, I love that question. That's a great question right there. What makes a good beat is, for me, what makes a good beat is the sample and the drum kick and the snare. I need some type of soul personally in it, and I need some type of rhythmic consistency to where it's like not too fast all the time or not too slow. So I don't know, that one right there, that might be one I have to reflect on. I think what makes a good beat is just a hard snare and a hard kick with a nice sample. I'm scrambling.
So you think people? Oh no, so I just threw it at you. Do you think people though, a listener responds to beat or melody more?
That's a good question as well. That's a great question. It depends on the listener.
Yeah.
Some people listen to things for melody, and some is like, nah, I need to see what this snare is like, or I need to see how these drums are hitting. If that ain't hitting, I don't even want to hear your melody. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So just depends on who it is. I know with me, I need to hear that drum first.
Yeah.
Just being an artist, like, okay, you own something, and then like the melody can come in and just put me over the top. Like, oh, like this is really, you know what I'm saying? So.
But the beat really informs everyone. That pulls everyone in. All cultures.
It does.
Right.
Rhythmic, universal. You know, some from a like from a rhythmic standpoint, the universal aspect of it. It's what, like, you put a beat on, no matter where you from, you like, oh, you just bob your head.
This is gonna. We didn't even go over this, but this is gonna be an abstract question.
Okay.
If you're thirsty, take a sip.
Oh no, you good.
All right. Like, if time, human beings, we all experience time. There is no beginning and end in time. Right.
Right.
If you accept that,
right.
I mean, it just keeps going.
Right.
And like, but a beat breaks up time.
Right.
It's like a.
Right.
Like, you're moving along, and then I think it's what I think of the blues. Like, I think of one player that really taught me that lesson was Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters.
The old blues player from Louisiana.
I've heard of him.
No, he's from Mississippi, but the pace of his rhythms were just like that. Mm-hmm. If you drive in Mississippi, which you're kind of from this, have you been down there?
I've been to Mississippi.
You know, you like the Delta, especially. You drive and it's just flat space, and there's no telephone poles, and then you think of like, wow, if you're passing time here, it's going to be a very slow beat, right?
Right.
And you think of like jazz that comes out of New York, it's like, you know, it's really fast.
Right.
So you have all the buildings that cut your space.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a beat, to me, it just breaks up time. It just breaks up time in like a different way, and it's so fascinating to me that like beats can seem so fresh. It can keep being fresh. You know what I mean? Based on a person's view of time. You know.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that also. I think there's a secret kept to how people move in space.
Go on, speak to that.
So, depending on the DNA of your soul, and when you get in that to where you're trying to be musically expressive, like there's some producers, whether it's the Dr. Dre's, the Ninth Wonders, the Timbalands, or the Kanye West, is like, you like, what in the world just happened here? Like, you chopped this sample right here to make it fall here in this weird way. I would have never thought of it. It's like we all have our own strand of rhythm, and we have our universal one, then we have like our own individual one to where like it's only for us to express and partake in. So I think that it's about you as an individual. How do you move in space based on the knowledge that you've built on the particular art that you're trying to create? And that's literally what it's all about.
Yeah.
What the beat is. What can you do in this space? Where are you gonna put the snare? Where are you gonna put the sample? How are you gonna chop it? Like, and certain beats will make you like rock differently. You like, I can't even do this to it. I gotta do like, you know what I'm saying, depending on the beat, or if it's double time to where you're like kind of moving, like it's like that person, depending on how they can move in space, is gonna dictate how you're gonna move in space when they put it on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna give you this and make you move like this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the most beautiful things, I think, as a human being, just being a musician. And that's still things that I'm exploring. Like, okay, how is this done? I may do it, but how can I be conscious of what to do it?
Yeah.
Like, I want to have you do this on this song.
Yeah.
Do it. You know.
It's funny how when you hear like certain beats just get it, like, all right, Tribe Called Quest, Can I Kick It? When you hear that beat, you're like, yeah, that beat's
right.
going up. But it's kind of like when you see in a football game, not a receiver, but someone receive a punt, and they pick the perfect line to run that touchdown back, and they make it look so easy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And beat, I'm saying that, and that's like a really good beat. And that, like, when you hear a really good beat, you're like, fuck yeah, of course.
Right.
How come we just don't do that all the time?
Right.
You know what I mean? When you see a running back pick the line, like, dude, you made it look so easy. You should do that shit all the time.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That?
I think it's equivalent to shooting.
Yeah.
It's all about touch physically, but the most difficult thing about being a musician is you don't have the physical aspects of like, oh, if I like pull back my hand a little bit, maybe the ball, I won't put so much on the ball. Yeah. So you're dealing with a quote unquote in an invisible realm and trying to catch that same like, oh, Steph Curry just hit 23s in a row, but you're trying to do it in an invisible realm. So we can't really tangibly put a hand on like, man, I made these two classic beats. I know how I know how that one was done, but once you're done with that particular piece, the next piece is a clean slate. It's back to trusting your being in your process and how much work and how much information that you've processed in your mind to say, I hope that my being presents that before the people again. Yeah. It's kind of like you're not even in control of it. It's all about, are you well studied and are you well experienced? And the more and more work that you put in, that being a gift you with another sort of like classic, you know what I'm saying? But you're like not in control. The only thing you're in control with, is am I putting in the work to where that higher power will gift me again? So if you're not putting in the work, you're probably not going to have access to so many of those type of experiences, which is that's a great concept, by the way.
Well, that brings me to your album, Almighty. Who's the Almighty?
We all are Almighties.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't create each other, but we all have an aspect of Almighty in us. We are all the light. And no matter what you believe in, if you come from it, you're a piece of it. If you have a child, your child is a piece of you, just like you're a piece of your parents. You can't have a child without your parents having you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the philosophy behind the Almighty thing. Because I get that question a lot. Like, man, you have all these God references. You are a form of God. You can reflect on something and bring it into being. I reflected on a sound. I reflected on a thought that made people move. If I do that to an extent, I am God. You know what I'm saying? So it's not in a way that's like egotistical. It's just like shine your light and give yourself more credit than you think. And nothing's outside of you. Everything that you have in you, you can possess. You can possess whatever you want to possess. It's all about really quieting that spirit and becoming the highest form of yourself. And when you do that, you are, my friend, a God.
That's beautiful. Um, all right. On all that you talked about just now, about what it means to be a rapper, what it means to be alive and vital, is there a song on Almighty or a track that sort of is your favorite or that sums up your philosophical approach?
Man, that's a great question. Man, my favorites change every day with the album. Jaylon Musa was my favorite starting out, which is just hip hop, just talking a bunch of hip hop shit. A lot of my supporters love Scholarship. A lot of supporters have been hitting me up about Scholarship. Also Love Me, which is dealing with depression, and another one is Dreams. That's another supporter favorite. So Dreams is all. It depends on my mood. It depends on when you ask me. Like if it's dark and gloomy, then Dreams may be maybe my favorite that day, or like Scholarship. And if I'm like, if it's a sunny day and I'm just out and I'm just on some, I feel cool today, maybe Jaylon Musa, you know what I'm saying? Or I might want to just be on some dress all black, go to, you know what I'm saying, go to my community and shed light or contribute in some type of way, or just go do something that's a black experience. Black Power might be my favorite song, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely one of my favorite songs though on the album.
Why did it's so funny that you've been saying all that, and your supporters are attracted to the same songs that I was, and people like something with a message. But it seems like every rap album that I've had, there's a third of the songs or portion that are the sort of braggadocious, like I'm the best MC, I'm that. Why is that still, why is that important, and why is that part of the MC culture?
That's a great question. I think it's a definitely a black experience for me. Coming up, I don't know if anybody outside of black people that hang with black people know when go to a black barbershop or go to a black family, when people start talking about each other, that's a whole nother experience. We do that very well. Man, your shoes whack, man, or whatever. Or if we just spar with each other, I just think that it's just our culture, and it's just us being competitive. That's something that we do. It's never personal, even though sometimes it may get personal depending on what's said. But that's definitely a black thing. I come up, people talk about me, I'll be able to talk about them. So you got to be sharp on your feet. I just think that just being people having conversation, it carried over to the music.
That's cool.
And it's just it's just kind of who it is, who we are. It's sport.
You keep your edge in a way.
Yeah, keep your edge. Okay, we both do this.
Yeah.
Are we not thinking about who's sharper? Now, even if we don't say it, we thinking, I don't know if I can play that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Or he just done something I can't do. Now with us, just to keep it, to sometimes to give us an edge. Yeah. All right, man, look, you whooped my ass yesterday.
Yeah.
You was playing stuff that I can't play. I'm bringing it today. That's the foundation. It's all in fun, but
it's more honest in a way. It's cool because in white society, people do that shit behind their backs, or they judge it, but they don't say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all
that's unfortunate.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, it's really, yeah.
Well, it keeps honesty on the table. It's yo, you destroyed me yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm coming to destroy you, and afterwards we're gonna go have drinks. By the way, it's not personal, but I respect what you do so much, and literally that's what we carried it into music, and we carried it in anything. Go watch when you watch sports.
Yeah.
LeBron's walking around beating his chest. Yo, I'm LeBron. KD, yo, I'm KD. The next guy, all right, we'll see you next week. You in our conference. We'll be back.
Right.
You keep it all within, because it's never personal. It's just we're challenging each other, but to certain other cultures, it comes off man, that's so harsh for them to say. It's really not for us, because what we say when we're not just taking it crazy, just to say something truly personal. When we're saying that, we're pushing the other person as well while pushing ourselves. So we might be here and we're just trying to bottle our emotions in, But if we start trash talking, guess where we're gonna end up at? Both of us. We're both gonna end up here because we're setting a fire within the both of us to where it's like, man, we both got extremely better today. So I think that's how I look at it. Like,
so trash talking is love?
Oh, super love, love, super. I love it.
Talk about that a little bit.
Man, just anything I do personally, you just gonna know humbly, like I'm coming with it, like. And it comes from a place of love, and it can be seen as egotistical. That's cool. Sprinkle that in there. You know what I'm saying? That has gotten me to great places. Just being a little egotistical, like, yo, I know I'm nice. I'm coming with it. You know what I'm saying? I hope you coming with it. It's really to like, yo, let's get it going. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be bowling.
Yeah.
Yo, like people say, like Michael Jordan. Like, it could be who could spit the farthest. Right. Michael Jordan would be like, I'm coming to play. You know what I'm saying? It builds that to where everybody in the group literally leaves that encounterment like on a whole nother level. Because if you just sit around, that's cool. Like, we're just gonna be humble, whatever. It's like, all right. But when you fall off in our community, if you lame, it's like, nah, we not feeling that. So what you gonna do once you get told that? You gonna go home? Yo, I can't get embarrassed again. I gotta bring it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You come back, they're like, oh, okay. So what we said, you know, it affected that person, and that person sometime will come up to you like, man, y'all being on me like that made me be sharp.
Yeah. To
where I have no choice but if I come around y'all, I gotta bring it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the foundation of it. I love that stuff.
I love that, man. That's
yeah, that was a great question. I really got in my element when you asked that, like, cause that's what I come up in. I play football.
Yeah.
Tried to pursue it in college. That's all I did was talk trash.
So is that where scholarship came from?
It's a scattered loosely. That is me, like not the alcoholic dad, or nothing like that, but loosely. Scholarship is based on. It's based on a young kid who's going through hardships while trying to get a scholarship to go to the NFL, and you know his career is cut short due to him snapping his leg over in a game, and it's kind of synonymous if that's the right word. I wanted it to come off very funeralistic, like a life was ended. So to speak. So that's why the beat is kind of like very sad, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of let the music play out after he gets injured. It takes a while for the music to actually cut off without nobody saying nothing. I purposely wanted that to happen because I kind of want people to kind of grieve to an extent with that piece or whatever. So it was just I wanted to paint the picture, but with something being sacrificed or whatever, and he put in so much work, and it's just a testament to life. Like, you can put in so much work, and these unfortunate things can happen. So that's literally what inspired it. Just me being in sports and knowing somewhat a lot about sports, and saying I can just say sports stuff, but how can I really turn this into a true piece that somebody can truly live with and relate to? And I'm really proud about that piece, because a lot of like athletes are like, yo, this is, you can literally see it play out, like pretty much like if I was a cameraman or whatever. So I'm very proud of that piece.
Why is stardom the only way out for black kids, whether it's rap, you know, sports?
Actually, stardom isn't the only way out, but it's the only way that some of us feel it is, due to what we see. The media, a lot of us that are in places that are seen a lot are people like rappers. And in our community, being a scientist is cool too, but they're not put on TV. Being an architect is cool as well, but it doesn't seem cool to some of us. And also, there's another side to it. I think that being in certain fields, we feel like we're gonna be pushed out eventually. So I think a lot of us come up saying, you can't push me out of being an athlete, because I know that the only thing that's gonna stop me from doing this is my athletic ability. But if I go and try to be a chemist and I get into these rooms and I'm the 1% of what I look like, I'm more susceptible to get pushed out. So I think that sometimes discourages kids. We have a lot of kids that want to be these things, but they have a lot of them that experience, when I get there, I have to an extent, sell my soul or to an extent, remove my blackness to get to the next level of that. And I think a lot of our college graduates can relate to that. And definitely coming up, going to college, there's been times where, like, you're in certain places, you might become a manager and you're the only, like, black manager. That's a real thing. You like, you sometimes you can have thoughts of, might have to walk a tight line, and it's natural for people to hire people that look like them. That's a natural thing, unfortunately. And of course, there's quote unquote some laws to try to put in place to where it's like, no, hire the best person for the job. Don't not hire him because he's whatever or she's whatever. Yeah. Just hire him. You know what I'm saying? So I think the fear of that is why sometimes it's not popular to be that. And like if I'm a rapper, there's no room to an extent to stop me from being a rapper because it's based off just my talent.
Yeah.
You can't hire me to be a rapper.
Right.
I'm giving my music to the consumers. They can make me rich, quote unquote. Like, you know what I'm saying, to an extent. Or being an athlete, I'm bigger, faster, whatever than you. There's nothing you can do to an extent. Of course, like there's little things that people do, but to an extent, you can't stop LeBron James. When he was in high school, what you gonna do if he doesn't get hurt? How can you stop him from? He skipped college. He jumped that actually. Like, nah, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna jump college.
So what I'm